this to you. It started when God said, light up the darkness. And our lives filled up with light as we saw and understood God in the face of Christ. If you only look at us, you might well miss that brightness. We carry this message around in the unabandoned clay pots of our ordinary lives. That is to prevent anyone from confusing God's incomparable power with us. As it is, there's not much chance of that. You know for yourselves that we're not much to look at. We've been surrounded and battered by trouble, but we are not demoralized. We're not sure what to do, but we know that God knows what to do. We've been spiritually terrorized, but God has not left our side. We've been thrown down, but we have not been broken. What they did to Jesus, they do to us. Trial and torture, mockery and murder. What Jesus did among them, He does in us. He lives. Our lives are at constant risk for Jesus' sake, which makes Jesus' life all the more evident in us. Do you see what we've got? An unshakable kingdom. And do you see how thankful we must be? Not only thankful, but brimming with worship. Deeply reverent before our God. Let us sing. Jesus
of y'all could do today. Wow. That's pretty good, yeah. Yeah, I did see that. I saw that. Did you see the men clapping today? Did y'all notice that? See, the first time we were doing all this stuff, the men are like, you know, on the back. They were clapping today. So, man, I'm proud of you, Dennis. That's impressive. I hope you had a good week. Man, I'm glad to see everybody. Well, I made the mistake of getting on the scales this morning. The problem wasn't getting on the scales, it was getting on the scales after our family breakfast yesterday. That was the problem. So, next time I'll know to wait a few days after breakfast before I get on the scales again. But it's, you know, I'm secure with my... Does it fit? That's one way to put it. I am so glad y'all are here. I hope you had a good week. Listen, here's what I want y'all to do. I love the message of that song. Now, I understand that most of us out there Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday, there's some battles, right? Is anybody besides me struggling with some challenges? Battles. Maybe just emotional stuff or work stuff or family stuff or just, well, here's the thing. When you and your family make a commitment to do right and serve Jesus and honor the Lord and everything, then guess what? The old devil's going to come right out there after you. And he will, and he does, and he has. So, but I'll tell you what, we will not be shaken because of the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. So, for those of you who are struggling, who have things going on this week that are unforeseen, surprises, things that jump up at you, be encouraged, because in the name of Jesus, it's going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And so, I just want to encourage you. I want you to do this today. I want you to take a deep breath and just relax and put away all the stuff that's cluttering your mind. For the next hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, no. I just want you to relax and listen. Let's have fun today. Do you know that laughter is healthy for you? It really is. It's healthy. It makes you feel better. And so there's lots to laugh about here at our church. So I'm excited. It has been a fantastic week, and we have a lot of things to share with you today. So let's start. Rob, yeah, come on. Let's start by prayer time. There we go. This one good.
Color.
Brown. All right. Let's go to prayer. That's a good way to start our Sunday, okay? Yep.
How many of you guys have ever heard David talk about planning with our church? And how much we plan, and how much time we spend in it. It's amazing the amount of effort that goes into planning. And I say that to say this, that this is not planned, but the verse and kind of the idea that came along with this today for me is perfectly in line with what Janet was talking about, what David's talking about, so we're just going to continue on the planning. But I had nothing to do with the planning of this. This is God, which I think is absolutely amazing to see even on a small level like this. But I wanted to share this with you. It's actually Jesus talking about the devil. And it's from John 8. And the part that I pulled out of here was, he was a murderer from the beginning and does not stand in truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaks a lie, he speaks from his own resources, for he is a liar and the father of it. This hits me because we've all heard God's truth. We've all come to an understanding of what is truth and what God is speaking into our lives. But then when we hear it and we take it to heart, the devil comes back with his lie. And he starts to tell you things like, you can't overcome this. You can't climb out of this hole. the things that God's promised you are not possible. So I wanted to kind of encourage you this week, because I know this has been something that's been kind of hitting me this week, that God's truth and His plan are not overpowered by the devil's lies. Not even a little bit. God's plan will happen. God's truth will always be truth, regardless of how big a lie the devil will tell you. The devil's going to tell you that. He's going to tell you a lie. He wants you to fall. The trick is, it's not even really a trick, but to cling to God's truth, hold on to that, and don't allow anything beyond that to enter your mind. So let's go to God today and pray and just be grateful for His truth and for His plan in our lives, His plan in our church. Because I think as a church, we hear a lot of the devil's lies. So let's pray. Father, we thank you for your truth. We thank you for your word, both written and spoken, Father. We're grateful for the fact that one truth speaks life into us, Father, that gives us the courage and the ability to press on even in the face of lies and in the face of the devil's tempting and the trials that he would put on us, Father. We're grateful for the fact that our church family is growing, Father, in your truth, and we seek after you, and we're looking for your word, Father, and your hand in our lives. Father, we pray, Father, that as a church, that you would protect us, that you would instruct us to guard our hearts against the devil, that we would be about your word, about your desires for our lives, Father. Father, thank you for this time when we get together and worship you and just revel in our gratitude, Father, for you and for what your Son's done for us, Father, and the possibility of salvation for all of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Y'all like surprises? I like some surprises. Some surprises I'm not crazy about, but the Lord surprises me every Sunday. Something about this church surprises me, and it's usually really, really good. Well, I got a surprise today. One of my favorite people in all the world is here today. This is her first time, and I didn't get to hug her. So, Jessica, come here and give me a hug. Jessica, and we've been buddies for a long time, and she came to see me today, and I just want y'all to know how proud I am of her. She brought her mom and daddy, me and Dawn. Thank y'all. She brought her, so y'all need to come get to know Jessica. She's one of my buddies. Cool. Okay. I had the privilege. I'm a nightmare for camera people. Everybody understand that? Because I just can't get still. But I had an amazing opportunity Thursday of this week. It was a wonderful. I get lots of neat things that I get to do and go to, but I got to go to something Thursday that was just fantastic, and I loved it. And you're gonna like this. I went to the Charlotte Fire Department graduation ceremony for Recruit Class 101. And if you've ever been involved in anything like that, it's really good. And so, we celebrate here, y'all. We look for reasons to party. And so I just want y'all to know this guy right here is a champion, and he's a hero. And Shane knows what it takes to go through this process. I believe it's about a 6-month thing. And folks, they do things that normal human beings ought not have to do. And I'm so encouraged. And you know, I hear people fussing and griping about things, our country, and so on and so forth. Well, I want you to know we're in good hands, folks. We're in good hands. you a captain? What are you? Engineer in Charlotte. And Shane, you are engineer in Albemarle, firefighter. And I just wanted y'all to help me welcome our newest firefighter, Dustin Sneed. Go ahead, yeah, all y'all stand up. That's awesome. You know, our country, we have a lot of heroes today, and a lot of them aren't really heroes. Do you understand? Just so you understand that, they're not. These are heroes because they put their life on the line on a regular basis, courageously. And so I'm proud. I'm proud to have a friend who is Dustin. And buddy, yeah, he said, "Now, preacher," I said, "Would you mind wearing your uniform?" And he said, "Well, I will if you want me to." I said, "I do." He said, "But you're not gonna make me say anything, are you?" And I said, "Probably." But I cut you some slack this time. Next time. That's awesome. We celebrate. You remember, I don't think they're able to be here today because Heather is coming home from the hospital today. Well, Glenn and Pam and their daughter Heather had her baby this week. I believe it was Thursday as well. I believe it was little Mallory James. There we go. So congratulations to the Love family, and I'm thrilled about that. That's a special situation. The Loves aren't here, are they? Heather is, I believe she's a young lady in her 20s, and she was married a few years ago, and her husband had a terrible thing, had a stroke, and was in the hospital, and he passed away. And the day that he passed, she found out she was pregnant with Mallory. And so the Lord, only God can do things like that. And the Lord gives life, and He takes life, and He does things that are right. And so this little baby's going to help her celebrate and move on with life. And God is good. And so when you're able to see them, we rejoice with them. God's just good like that. All right. You know, that's how family is, though, y'all. We laugh and we cry a little bit, too, because that's how family is. We share and we're together. And just glad that y'all are here. If you have your bulletin, a couple things real quick on that. We have an amazing month coming up in May. It starts tomorrow. I can't believe tomorrow's May 1st. And so we have some amazing things coming up. Ladies have an event this Saturday, and that is here. And the details are here. If you have any questions, you can check with Becky about that. Is Becky in here? She's probably working in one of them. Anyway, that information's here. You can check with her. We have a Place Weekend coming up. Phil Cross, who is an amazing anointed songwriter. He will be with us, our special guest, May 21. He'll sing and share. And man, I want you to meet Phil. He is just phenomenal, an incredible artist. Also, the 21st is a real special day. That is our next baptism. And our baptisms are pretty special here. We baptize in a swimming pool for one thing. That's pretty special. It's heated. And I was baptized in a river, which wasn't heated at the time I was baptized. So we've gone pretty high tech on that. But if you have followed Christ and you know the Lord and you've never been baptized, or you just feel like it's the next step you need to take on your journey, that baptism time is coming up. If you can see me, or fill out a little visitor's card and say, I want to get baptized. We'll put you on the list and get you details for that. We have several to get baptized. All right, let's see. I think just going to be a really exciting May. There's lots of other things, but I won't mention all of those. Okay, Rick, you ready? All right, come up here and stand beside me. This is, you can go ahead. Ricky's one of our our Mount Pleasant High School talented students who plays, and your instrument is French horn. That's not an American horn, that's a French horn. And so there's a big difference. Ricky is an incredible talent, and the thing I love is that he's given his talent to the Lord, and he comes and helps us here every Sunday with his abilities and his talents, and Ricky has grown and come to know the Lord. And we talked last week, and he said, I think I want to join the church. And I said, well, I think God wants you to join the church. So, Ricky, I want you to know that this family out here is very proud of you. And we want to say, and then after the service, I want you to come up here and give him a big old hug and say, man, welcome home. We're glad you're here. Let's pray. Lord, I'm thankful for your gifts to the church. The greatest resource is the human resource. And I thank you for my friend Ricky. God, thank you for the way that you have worked in his heart, and you've drawn him and showed him the way to follow Jesus. And God, thank you for his courage and for his testimony and his talent that he gives to you regularly. And God, just bless Ricky. God, thank you that you brought him into this wonderful family. And I pray that we would love him and take care of him and be his family. God, thank you for Ricky today. In Jesus' name, amen. Okay, now I have the next thing that you're going to experience. You're already laughing. This is an official disclaimer. The pastor of this church is not responsible for what you're about to see, because Penny and Bill. Thank you for that. When you delegate, it's a risky thing to delegate. Those of you who are leaders, it's a scary thing to delegate when you delegate to people like Penny and Bill. So I'm just really not sure what's going to happen next, but the Journey team has prepared this presentation for you right now.
Well, that's an encouraging intro. Thank you. Last week was amazing. Our 2-year birthday. We got together. We learned what direction we're moving in, building a new home. And we put together a little unrehearsed skit. And so this skit is called, what is it called? It's called Bring It, Bring Your Talents, and Let It Go. You see, not everybody is gifted with the gift of financial abundance, but we all are gifted by God. So let's bring our talents. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the world premiere of the first series of Bring It and Let It Go. We have a gift to present to you of talented people who are taking their talents and selling them to bring money to our church to help us with our home. Our first person that's going to be presented today is unbelievably talented. As a matter of fact, he's brother with a person who is a legend in the industry. So, without further ado, I bring you Jeff Presley.
All of you unmarried men better fully vet your mother-in-law. Candy jail. The prison man was there and they began to wail. The band was jumping and the drum began to swing. You should have heard the night down jailbird sing. That's rough. Everybody, that's rough. crash, boom, bang. The whole rhythm section on the third floor gang. Let's rock. Everybody, let's rock. Everybody on the cell block. Where they do jazz, let's rock. Dance and do jazz, let's rock. Dance and do jazz, let's rock. Dance and do jazz, let's rock.
What an amazing and talented person. He is offering his talent of music, Mr. Presley's brother, that can be bought today for a mere $5,000. Do we have anybody here that would, he'll do parties, he'll do weddings, whatever, birthdays, anything.
Hey, I'll buy it.
You'll buy it?
I will. Well, you have to know my family to understand why that's so appropriate, but it would be a great gift for my husband.
Yeah, that's awesome, because we all know he's nothing but a hound dog. Funny. Okay, for our next act, these people, you gotta just love them. They are so amazing. As a matter of fact, they were in the entertainment industry the same time Ella Fitzgerald was. And you remember Ella. You see, if Ella married Darth Vader, she'd be Ella Vader. I got a million of them. However, the next act, hold on to your seats. They are incredible. I bring you the Not So Golden Girls.
Stop in the name of love before you break my heart. Think it over. Baby, baby, I'm aware of where you go each time you leave my door. Baby, baby, you walk down the street knowing you love my feet. Baby, baby. Think it over after I've been good to you. Think it over after I've been sweet to you. Stop in the name of love before
Stop. No, you stop. Stop. Please stop.
We are done. We're having finished.
No, you're done.
No, we're not. We're not.
Now, you guys are really something special.
Thank you.
And what I'd like you to do...
Did we win?
Yeah, something. But what I'd like you to do is take this phone, Google Diana Ross and the Supremes.
How do you do that? What do you mean, Google?
Just, that's okay, you'll figure it out.
Google?
Because I just gotta say, no offense, the only thing you guys and them have in common is you both move your lips when you sing.
Not nice.
Oh, you're amazing. Amazingly amazing. For our next performer. Now, while we've been on this journey as a church, we've all been working on ourselves spiritually and emotionally and also financially. But what about physically? I mean, there are a lot of great workout programs out there, like Sweating with the Oldies. Frank, you used to do that, didn't you? And we've got, you've got Tybo, and you've got the 10-minute abs. We've come up with a new program. This is the most amazing program that's ever been developed. And to introduce it to you today, I am bringing out a gentleman who's going to go through the program. It's called 10-Second Body Transformation. In 10 seconds, you can change your entire physique like that. So let me introduce you to Mr. Stick. Mr. Stick, please come out. Okay, Mr. Stick. What do you bench, like 4 pounds? Listen, we have summer coming up, and we need to work on developing a beach body so they aren't kicking sand in your face anymore. So, if you would do me a favor, go in the back, do the 10-second workout, and let's see how this program works. This is only $10,000 where you can transform your body in 10 seconds. He's back there now working out. Let's see, are we almost done? How are we doing back there, Mr. Sting? All right, here we go, Mr. Sting. Is it good or is it good? Not only is it good, he doesn't even need glasses anymore. So, $10,000 for the 10-second body transformation. Do we have anybody in the audience that would like to?
I will.
Cecil! Speed us around back, that'd be great. Thank you. We've got a lot of talent in this church. Our next performer isn't really a performer, he's more of an artist. Ladies, how cool would it be to come to church and sit next to Mr. GQ? We have a gentleman who has developed a program that can take any head and transform it into a luscious, gorgeous head of hair. No matter whose head it is. Yours is great, just the way it is. No matter whose head it is, so I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Gorgeous. So, Mr. Gorgeous, you're telling me that within 1 week, your products, that you can take a person and give him a head of hair with the perfect part, with all the thickness and lushness of your hair within 1 week. And you're selling that for how much?
$150.
No. Selling that for $4,500. We're doing this for God. Okay. I appreciate it, but we've got a church to build. So, do we have anybody in the audience that would love to use the program developed by Mr. Gorgeous?
Oh, $4,000. I got it right here.
Barry! We'll put you in the back and I'm sure it's going to be great. You're perfect. That's awesome. Thank you, Mr. Gorgeous. Appreciate it.
Wait a second. You know what? Okay, I didn't think I had anything to offer because I'm just like a business person with a bunch of ideas and connections. But you know what? I see a connection happening. You guys want a picture with Mr. Gorgeous, don't you? But you don't know how to work your phone. I've got the solution. For a mere $500 tutorial session, I can set you up with Mr. Technology. Mr. Aaron Drake, would you please come up here and show them how to use their phone? Okay, and you know what? I've been thinking about you lately, Aaron, because you've got this art project coming up. And I saw your preliminary drawings, your stick figures, and I happened to be looking at this amazing backdrop back here, and I happened to see somebody else, Macy love, where are you? Don't you come out here? You know what? Hey Aaron, I know what you can do with that $500 that you earned from that technology session. Would you like to hire Macy Love to paint your art project for you? That's amazing! For mere $500! You know what? There is no telling what else we've got to offer you teenagers. I just love it. That is amazing. I bet we got some other teenagers too, don't we?
I know we've got a lot of teenagers, and I know everybody's gifted. Do you have any ideas?
I got lots of ideas. You know what? I've got a spreadsheet. I can go work on it.
That would be awesome.
How about that?
Thank you very much.
Awesome.
needed the hat because our next person is so hot. What they are bringing to the stage is so unbelievable. We all know what the greatest book ever written is, and that's the Bible. But how about, does anybody know what the second greatest book ever written is? No, it's not Think and Grow Rich. It's not the Quran. Not the Holy Grail. The person that's coming out next is a world traveler, has traveled the entire world, and has found the one copy of the second greatest book ever written. And they're here today to sell it for a mere $100,000. Probably could get millions, but it's kind of a church discount. So I bring to you Penny Tomb Raider Magnum.
Hi, church. You'll be glad to know we're down to the serious part of the program now. And if you're visiting our church for the first time, I'd like to reassure you that it would be safe to come back another time. I'm certain that Bill York and I will never be asked to do this again. Oh, and I want to tell you too, church, you can trust me. I'm just a little sweet little granny person. I don't lie. I never exaggerate. I'm not insane like other people up here. And I don't hear voices like you know who. What I've got here, and when I tell you now, I've got a deal for you, you can trust me. Okay, this book, the name of this book, well, the title alone is just riveting. It's titled, How to Wrap Up a Sermon in 5 Hours.
How about that? How many copies do you
I
have?
haven't told you who it's by yet. It's written
I want it.
by David Wayne Snow. Well, if you're slow readers, I should warn you, it's 692 pages. But it's got a lot of those color pictures that David loves.
How about that?
And remember, there's that teensy-tiny detail that it costs $100,000. Oh, okay. All right, we have Plan B. Next option, it's an installment plan. We're going to sell it 1 page at a time. How about that? Guys, give me, oh, wonderful. Vernon, did you have a request?
I want mine in Spanish.
Vernon wants his page in Spanish. How cute. Just, you guys see me after church. Thank you.
Well, that about wraps up our show. Don't be disappointed. However,
Wait.
Yes.
We're not. I thought we need to bring some money for our church.
what a great idea. What is this?
This is a sack of $100 silver dollars. And I found some more underneath the bed. That's 1,000 silver dollars.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, we'll take money also. Thank you very much, Mark. Appreciate it. Yes, we are raising money to continue on our journey, but there's also talents and gifts that everybody can give. And so what we're asking and what we're looking for is, most importantly, our hearts. With God's faith and our faith in God and your hearts and us going all in, we know God can do amazing things.
Amen.
So please, everybody, search yourself and see what can you bring along this journey to make God's house awesome. A couple announcements. Tonight and tomorrow night are our leaders meeting at the barn. For those who have been asked, we are inviting everybody to the church to have a small group meeting where you can ask questions about the home that we're building, where you can talk about how you can be a part of it, and also where we will pray. Pray about God doing amazing things in our church. I thank you. Have a great day.
Well, I told y'all. Let's give them another round of applause. That's real money, right? Okay, we're on our way, folks. Let's start digging.
We've started.
We've started building this building. So, you know, God's people need a house. Your family needs a house. We need a house. And we presented the picture, what it looks like, what it costs. Now all we got to do, everything's ready to go. Just start digging, start building. I have one more story for you, and then I know this has been unusual. And for those of you that are guests, sorry. Bryson, come here. Sir, please. Bryson had a big day yesterday. He has a big day every day, but he had an event that he has pretty much owned for a long time. And so I wanted him to, some of you follow him, I wanted him to give us an update on your MDA event yesterday, please, sir.
So yesterday was, every year we do an MDA muscle walk, and we raise funds, and we go out and walk for the MDA, and these funds go to finding cures, research, and sending kids to MDA summer camp. We've done this for about 15 years. And we were able to raise close to $10,000 yesterday. And the event altogether raised $83,000 for the fight against muscle disease. And so, thank you all for who donated. We really appreciate it, and thank you so much.
Bryson is an icon in this world, which is the MDA world, particularly locally and nationally as well. And so they always ask him to lead a team. And so his team always wins because everybody throws money at Bryson because they love him so much. And so he obviously wins in that regard as well. So I was talking to his family and him, and we had a conflict in schedule yesterday. I always go and walk, and several of others of you participate. Well, we had our church event yesterday. We had our breakfast, and I called him. I said, Phil, I have got a terrible problem. I said, I have not yet learned how to be in more than one place at one time. And I'm not going to be able to come walk. He said, man, Brother Dave, that's okay. That's no problem. I said, all right, listen, we're going to do this. We're going to make the church, our church is very involved in community, right? And it's a part of our mission as a church. And so I said, we have a donation that we're going to give as a church to Bryson's team in the MDA. And it's a significant amount for us. And I said, we're going to do this because we love Bryson. And we talked, and they said, you know what, Brother David? This is where it gets good. They said, we'll be fine. Everybody raises money, all that's good, no problem. It's just an incredible family, by the way. He said, why don't we just take your donation and put it toward the church building? So here it is. Where's Jonathan? Is Jonathan in here? Hey, Jonathan. Why don't you take that gift from the church, and then he's going to turn around and give it to Jonathan for the Journey team to help us get started on our new building. This is how it works, church. church, and it's got a lot of things, and it's going to cost a significant amount of money. And you know, I don't see anybody. I'm not looking at anybody. Well, I don't know that, but just I got to preach. I'll write a check for a couple million. If you feel led to do that, it's good. But what I'm saying is, it's going to take all of us participating in some way. I don't care. I really did. I told Penny and the team. I said, you know what? And John, I said, I really don't care how you. I mean, do anything unethically, but you know, let's ask God to help us raise the money. Let's build this building. It's time. I want you to know that God is honored by the magnitude of our requests.
Amen.
God is honored by the magnitude of our. He's not a pauper. We're not beggars. He's the King of Kings and the Lord of Lords. You think $2 million scares him? I don't. I believe he wants us to have a building. And that's what the journey we're going to be on for the next few weeks is this journey. And so I want us to pray. And then we'll take a break. And I want to ask the Lord to help us with the magnitude of this request. Father, I thank you for this church. I thank you for people who give and serve unselfishly. And they give sacrificially. And they give generously. And I want to thank you for my friend Bryson and Phil and Claire Foster. Nobody knows. I pray you bless them. God bless them. Take care of Bryson. We need Bryson. We love Bryson. God bless this church, Lord. It's time now. We need a home. We need a place to meet, a place to be together, a place for our kids. And so help us. God, take care of this money. Lord, we honor you by asking. And God, you just lead us wherever you want to take us on this journey. And we thank you in advance for all you're going to do in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, let's take a little break, and we'll go back and keep going.
Good morning, everybody. Now let's stand up and worship the King this morning.
Jesus. The mere mention of his name can calm the storm, heal the broken, raise the dead. At the name of Jesus, I have seen sin-hardened men melted, derelicts transformed, the light of hope put in the eyes of a hopeless child. At the name of Jesus, hatred and bitterness turn to love, and forgiveness, arguments cease. I have seen cancer defeated. I have seen the lost found. I have seen the broken restored. All in the power of a single name, Jesus. Emperors have tried to destroy it. Philosophies have tried to stamp it out. Tyrants have tried to wash it from the face of the earth with the very blood of those who claimed it. Yet it still stands. And there shall be, in that final day, every voice that has ever uttered a sound shall raise in one mighty chorus and proclaim the name of Jesus. For in that day, every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess, and every single thing that has breath shall praise the Lord Jesus. It is not chance that caused the angel one night, long ago, to say to that virgin, his name shall be called Jesus.
You were the word at the beginning, one with God the Lord Most High. Your hidden glory in creation, now revealed in you, my Christ. What a beautiful name it is. What a beautiful name it is. The name of Jesus Christ, my King. What a beautiful name it is. steady stream. Love is a hunger that never endures small. Caught up in humanity, but it will never know. Now I'm on my hands and knees, trying to gather up my dreams, trying to hold on to anything. We could shake our fists in times like this, when we don't understand, or we just hold hands, you and me and you. Where you go, I'll go too. I'm with you, I'm with you. Till your heart finds a home, I won't let you feel alone. I'm with you, I'm with do your best to build a higher wall, to keep love safe from any wrecking ball. When the dust has cleared, we will see the house that love rebuilds, guarding beauty that lives here still. You and me and you. Where you go, I'll go too. I'm with you, I'm with you. Till your heart finds a home, I won't let you feel alone. I'm with you, I'm with you. Who could say I'm left with nothing? I have all of you, all of you. In the way you always loved me, I remember he does too. It's you and me and you. Where you go, I'll go too. I'm with you, I'm with you. Till your heart finds a home, I won't let you feel alone. I'm with you, I'm with you, me and you. Where you go, I'll go too. I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm with you. Till your heart finds a home, I won't let you feel alone. I'm with you, I'm with you, I'm
Hello, my name is Ruth. I would like to tell you a story about a woman named Naomi. Naomi was married to Elimelech. They had 2 sons, and as time passed, Elimelech died. This left Naomi with only her 2 sons. I married one of Naomi's sons, and a woman named Orpah married the other. About 10 years later, both of our husbands died. This left Naomi all alone. Naomi decided to travel back to Judah. Orpah and I decided to travel alongside her. Naomi wanted us to travel back to our homeland, to our mothers. We did not want to leave Naomi. She insisted we go back, for there was no reason for us to stay. Orpah decided to go back to her homeland, but I could not leave Naomi. I told her, "Do not ask me to leave you and turn back. Wherever you will go, I will go. Wherever you live, I will live. Your people will be my people, and your God will be my God." We arrived in Bethlehem in late spring. I went to the harvest fields to pick up stalks of grain left behind by anyone who was kind enough to let me do it. I find myself working in a field that belonged to Boaz, the relative of my deceased father-in-law. Boaz was very kind to me and allowed me to gather grain with the other harvesters to take back to Naomi. Time passed, and Boaz and I got married. We bared a son. He was the redeemer for Naomi's family. I loved Naomi and cared for her. I feel that through my journey with her, God blessed me in abundance. The greatest relationships are those built on faith in God. He was with us.
Amen. Thank you, Ruth. Glad to have Ruth visiting with us at Community Church Mount Pleasant today, all the way from the Old Testament. We as you have seen, we laugh a lot here. We also cry a lot too. I slobber all over myself. We blubber. Someone came up to me during the break and they said, we have been a part of building a church. And it's hard. It costs money to build a home. It costs money for you to build a home for your family. We got a large family. It's grown every week. I never thought this family would be this large, but God did. And so this family needs a home. And so they said, it takes a lot of money. He said, here's a gift for you. These people aren't members, and it's a significant amount. So thank you for that. And that inspires me and encourages me because God can build this building any way He wants to. Thank you for that encouragement. Okay. Women of the Bible. This is a 3-part series that we're going to do, and it will culminate on Mother's Day. We'll lead up to that, and I'm excited about this series. And so, guys, don't you think you're going to clock out on me? Well, it's about the women, so I just show up and sleep through the message or whatever. You know what's going to happen? You're going to learn probably more than the women during this series. We're going to see some things about the wonderful ladies, some specific ones from the scriptures, and so that's our series for the next 3 weeks. I don't know if I've seen a better, more appropriate illustration of Ruth and Naomi as we heard from Andrea and Janet in that song. That's powerful. Thank you, girls. And then Ruth's message to us as well. Thank you. Today, April 30, Ruth and Naomi. Next Sunday, we will do one of my favorite stories. And next Sunday, we're going to meet Mary and Martha. Now, that's special in my heart because I married Mary, and she has a twin sister named Martha. So I got a lot I can say about Mary and Martha. 99% of which I will not say. But we'll see what God says about Mary and Martha next week. She's in the kids, so don't tell her I said that. Mother's Day, we will talk about Mary, the mother of Jesus. What a mother she is. All right. I want you to open your Bibles to Ruth if you have not figured that out yet. Ruth chapter 1. Got a subtle message there. Ruth chapter 1. This is an incredible love story. If you like to read, love stories and those movies and, chick flick kind of things, yes? This is an amazing story. But it's not the normal, typical, guy meets girl, fall in love, happily ever after thing. This is a different angle on a love story, and it's about Ruth and Naomi. So I want you to, if you have your bulletin, there's a little, real simple outline there. We want to talk about their past. We want to read the story. And then we want to talk about their profiles. We'll learn a little bit more about them personally. And then we want to look at their portraits, which means what they will have to bring to us and give to us and what we can learn from them. So, let's begin by reading the story of Ruth and Naomi and their families from the book of Ruth. Ruth chapter 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days when the judges ruled that there was a famine in the land, and certain man of Bethlehem, Judah, went to sojourn in the country of Moab. He and his wife and his 2 sons. Now this is tricky, because at this time culture was very important, and culture had direct ties to the religion of the different groups of people. And so here's these people who were together, and there was a famine, and he was struggling, and he said, I'm having a problem paying our bills. And you know, people often have to move to pursue a job so they can take care of their family, and he felt that this is what he needed to do. The challenge was he was moving into an alien country, religiously and culturally. It was real different. And verse 2 says, and the name of the man was Elimelech, and the name of his wife Naomi. And these names are significant because in the particularly Old Testament, names stand for something. They all mean something significant. And the name of his 2 sons were Mahlon and Chilion, Ephrathites of the Bethlehem, Judah, and they came into the country of Moab and continued there. Now, Elimelech, his name meant, my God is king. Now that's very significant because he moved to a country that wasn't going to be supportive of what his name was, because the gods were different. And his wife's name was Naomi, and her name meant pleasant. What a good name. Pleasant. And then there was Mahlon and Chilion, and these are interesting. Mahlon's name means sickly. How would you like, hey, sick boy, how you doing today? Oh, I'm sick. Okay. Living up to your name. Mahlon and Chilion. Oh, that's a good one. Chilion means pining. You know what that? Whining. So you got sickly and whining. Gotta wonder about that. Those name choices. So we got this family of 4, and they moved to this new, foreign, different, alien country. This is the backdrop of our story. Elimelech, Naomi's husband, died. Verse 3. And she was left and her 2 sons. She was a widow, a single mother. And they took them wives of the women of Moab. So the guys found girls, and they got married. The name of one was Orpah, which means fawn. And the name of the other was Ruth. And they dwelled there about 10 years. Do you know what Ruth means? Ruth means beauty. It means pleasant to look upon. Ruth. Verse 5. And Mahlon and Chilion died also. So whiny and sickly lived up to their names. And they both died. Now, Naomi's got to be thinking, what have I done? You know, I mean, my husband died, and my son died, and my other son died. And so this is a distressing time for her. And so the boys died also, both of them, and the woman was left of her 2 sons and her husband. She lost the 3 men in her life. Some of you can identify, you've lost a husband. Some of you have lost a son. That's a an amazing emotional experience, journey that she is starting on here in chapter 1. Then she arose with her daughters-in-law that she might return from the country of Moab, which was an alien country. It was foreign to her religion. And they wanted to return unto the land of Judah. You know what she wanted to do? I've lost my husband. I've lost my... I'm going home. You ever just feel like, I just need to go home? She did. Because when you lose things that are important to you, you become lonely and tired. And just emotionally, you're spent. And she said, girls, I need to go home. And she rose with her daughters-in-law, she might return from the country of Moab, for she had heard in the country of Moab how that the Lord had visited his people in giving them bread. Why did they leave there in the first place? There was a famine, and so she had heard that things were better. So everything points toward me going home. Wherefore she went forth out of the place where she was, and her two daughters-in-law went with her, and they went on the way to return unto the land of Judah. They started making preparations. They started the journey home, by the way. And Naomi began to show us, God is revealing her character. So I want you to look at her, look at these traits of this incredible woman named Naomi. She said unto her two daughters-in-law, go, return each of you to your mother's house. You know what, girls? I'm not your real mama. I'm your mama-in-law. I love you, but why don't you go back home to your home, to your mama, to your... Girls, you know how it is. There's nobody like mama. And Naomi, is with much wisdom, said, look, I can't provide for you. I don't know if I can even provide for me. Why don't you go home? Go return each to your mother's house. The Lord deal kindly with you as ye have dealt with the dead and with me. Now, do you think it was easy for her to say goodbye to her daughters-in-law? I don't. She had developed an incredible bond. And they're all she had. They're all she had. And she said, girls, I want y'all go home to your mama. I can't provide for you. I'm not your real family. The Lord grant you that you may find rest, and each of you in the house of her husband. Then she kissed them, and they lifted up their voice and wept. Here's this emotions. Well, it's sad. We probably ought to go home, but we love you, Naomi, mother, we love you deeply. And it's a time of emotions, and they wept together. And they said unto her, surely we will return with you to your people. Oh, but girls, I'm going back home. This is different. You don't understand. You're going to have to give up all of your lifestyles, including your religion, to go home with me. And Naomi said, turn again, my daughters. She said, now girls, let's think through this. Why will you go with me? Are there yet any more sons in my womb, that they may be your husbands? I don't have any more sons for you to marry. Go your way, for I'm too old to have a husband. If I should say I have hope, if I should have a husband also tonight, and should also bear sons. But I can't. You need to go home. I can't take care of you. Would you tarry for them till they were grown? Would you stay for them from having husbands? Nay, my daughters, for it grieveth me much for your sakes that the hand of the Lord is gone out against me. I've lost everything. Go to your families. Verse 14, and they lifted up their voice, and they wept again. And Orpah kissed her mother-in-law, but Ruth clave unto her. There was something different about the relationship with Ruth and her mother-in-law, Naomi. Verse 15, and Ruth said, "Behold, thy sister-in-law is gone back into her people and into her gods. Return thou also thy sister-in-law." Now, verse 16 is a verse that you have probably heard. It's a verse that often is taken out of context, but it's meant well. So this verse, this is the context of this verse. This is the love that is defined in verse 16 between a mother and her daughter-in-law. Verse 16, "And Ruth said, Entreat me not to leave you, or to return from following after thee. For whither thou goest, I will go." Mother-in-law, I know I got family, I know I got my place, but I love you so much. I'm going with you. "And where you lodgest, I will lodge. Your people shall be my people." Watch this. "And thy God will be mine." Her love it passed everything. It superseded her family, her jobs, her connections, her culture, even her religion, her gods. She said, "Naomi, I love you so much. I'm going to give up everything that I've known to follow you." That's the love story in this book, in this chapter. Verse 17, "Where thou diest will I die, and there will I be buried. The Lord do so to me, and more also, if aught but death part thee and me." When she saw that she was steadfastly minded to go with her, then she left. She said, "Okay, all right, I give up. Ruth, I guess I'm stuck with you." I wonder how that felt for her. She had no one else. And for her daughter-in-law to leave everything and say, "I love you so much, I will follow you." What a story. So Naomi gave up and she said, "Okay, come on, let's go." So they too went until they came to Bethlehem, and it came to pass when they were come to Bethlehem, that all the city was moved about them, and they said, "Is this Naomi?" They remembered her. She went back to her hometown, and they remembered her. And she said to them, "Call me not Naomi. Listen, I'm not the same person that I was when we left. Some things have happened to me in my life. Call me Mara." Do you know what Mara means? Bitter. Don't call me Naomi. Remember, what did Naomi mean? Pleasant. But she's not pleasant anymore because God has dealt bitterly with her. I lost my husband, I lost both my sons, and now I have nothing else but my daughter-in-law. So call me Mara. Because life, somebody's sitting here today and you feel like, call me Mara. Because my life is a mess. Things have happened in my life and it's been very bitter. And I'm hurt, and I'm broken, and I'm devastated. I'm not the same person that I used to be because life has beat me up. Wow. I went out full. I left this country with my family with high hopes. And the Lord hath brought me home again empty. Folks, it's okay. You can always come home even if you're empty. Even if you're broken, even if you're destroyed, you have no money, you have no hope, you have no friends, life has devastated you, you can come home. And Naomi did. Anybody need to come home today? Remember when times were good? Remember when life was full and you had food and cars and a nice home and your family? Remember when life was good? Why then call ye me Naomi, seeing the Lord hath testified against me, and the Almighty hath afflicted me? So Naomi returned, and Ruth the Moabitess, her daughter-in-law, with her, which returned out of the country of Moab. And they came to Bethlehem in the beginning of barley harvest. Now, Paul Harvey used to say, now I'll tell you the rest of the story. I'm not going to tell you the rest. The study is not about Boaz. The study is about Naomi, and it's about Ruth. So let me wrap it up today by moving to point number 2, which is their profiles. Let me give you a very quick profile on these two amazing women. Naomi, during the period of Judges, approximately 1200 BC, a famine in the region of Bethlehem caused Elimelech to take his wife Naomi and their 2 sons to the green fields of Moab, east of the Dead Sea. Shortly after arriving, however, Elimelech died, and Naomi was left as an alien to work in a nation that practiced polygamy and idol worship. In time, her 2 sons chose wives, Ruth and Orpah, before whom Naomi continued to live a pious life of dedication to her Messiah. As a widow and a single parent, she demonstrated inner strength. When both of her sons died, she faced her destitution with resoluteness, determined to return to her home in Israel. She believed that God had dealt harshly with her. Her life had been disappointing, but her faith was intact. Consequently, she insisted that her daughters-in-law return to their mother's homes. Both of them resisted, but eventually Orpah, the widow of Chilion, returned. Ruth, however, vowed to accompany Naomi back to Bethlehem. Renouncing her own family and her own religion, Naomi learned that even in the midst of the greatest suffering and adversity, God is good and full of mercy. Having returned to her homeland, Naomi wisely introduced Ruth to her new environment and coached her on proper behavior, masterminding Ruth's contacts with Boaz, a relative of Elimelech. Naomi models the way God works through a woman who moves forward, even in the midst of tragedy and trial, actively seizing every opportunity God provides rather than waiting passively for events to happen. In the providential care of God, eventually Boaz agreed to act as the Goel, or the kinsman redeemer provided in Jewish law, buying the estate of Naomi and taking Ruth as his wife. The blessing of God on their home produced a son named Obed, who became an ancestor of King David and ultimately Jesus Christ. Naomi had not always responded appropriately in her time of affliction. And I love this, ladies, because this is not the perfect Proverbs 31 woman 24/7. And if you think you are, you know you're not. And I love this because this is just keeping it real. Naomi had not always responded appropriately in her time of affliction. Though she acknowledged God's working in her life, she misjudged God. For example, when she said that she left Bethlehem full, actually it had been an emptiness of famine that had driven her family away from her homeland. She continued her analogy by accusing God of bringing her back empty. And indeed, she had lost her husband and sons, but in their place, God had given her Ruth, a devoted daughter-in-law. By focusing on the negative, Naomi became bitter that she could not see good and positive, the plans God was working. Naomi lives, however, today as a true heroine. Her stalwart faith during years of adversity and her careful tutoring of her young protege Ruth under difficult circumstances exemplify a woman of deep spiritual understanding. The result of her wisdom shines throughout history. Ruth. Ruth was a Moabitess. She grew up on the high plateau south of the Arnon River, probably in a polygamous nation as a worshiper of the false god Chemosh. A Hebrew family came from Bethlehem to Moab, and they were different. The mother Naomi was treated with respect by her husband Elimelech. This was different, because in this country, man, you can have a bunch of wives, and the respect wasn't always there. But this family was different. Ruth, who was asked to be the bride of Naomi's son Mahlon, was thus introduced into a close, mentoring relationship with this wise, stable woman whom she came to love and admire. Ruth and her sister-in-law Orpah bonded closely with Naomi. The three women clung together as they watched their husbands die. Naomi had heard the famine in Bethlehem was past, and she wanted to return home. She strongly urged her daughters-in-law to return to their respective homes and live in the women's quarters so that once again they would be eligible for marriage. Both young women wanted to stay with her, but after an emotional farewell, Orpah relented and returned to her home. Ruth, however, steadfastly clung to Naomi. Her name is a contraction of the Hebrew rueth, from the root for sight, meaning something worth seeing. Ruth understood that moving to Bethlehem meant total renunciation of her heritage and a lifetime of living as a foreigner. Her vow to Naomi stands as one of the most beautiful statements of commitment in history. The arrival of the two women in Bethlehem marked the beginning of a new life for her. She worked in a barley field of Elimelech's relative Boaz, gleaning the edges left for the poor. The stalks of grain were collected and threshed with a heavy wooden hand tool. Then with a large fork, the grain was lifted into the air and allowed the wind to blow away the chaff. Many of the poor women flirted with the reapers and tried to steal grain, but Ruth soon gained a reputation for such honesty and integrity that the owner commended her. Following the wise counsel of her mother-in-law, humble Ruth won the respect and eventually the love of the wealthy Boaz, who bought the estate of Naomi and took Ruth as his wife. In so doing, he became a kinsman redeemer. Ruth lives in history as a model of womanhood, willing in joy and confidence to break with her past on the basis of God's revelation taught to her by a loving mother-in-law. God uses the faithfulness of ordinary women to accomplish His extraordinary plans. He provided bread for two widows through Ruth's gleaning. He provided security for the young widow Ruth through her marriage to Boaz. He provided posterity for Naomi through Obed, the son born to Ruth and Boaz. He provided a great king for Israel and even the Messiah through this gentle. Wow. That's the rest of the story. Let me wrap it up today by talking about the portrait of these two ladies. Penny, I'll try to do it in less than 5 hours. Naomi. And as I do this, let's make some applications. What do we learn? What do we learn from Naomi? Inner strength, resoluteness, determination. She was greatly disappointed. It's going to happen. Some of you have lost children. Some of you have lost a husband. She remained faithful. She was a woman of wisdom. She was a wonderful mentor who coached her daughter-in-law. She was very resilient and strong. She was resourceful. She was positive. She became a heroine for us. She was a woman of understanding and great stability. And Ruth was a very unique woman, even at a young age. She was steadfast. She was incredibly loyal. She was very dedicated. Her honesty and integrity set her apart. While the other girls were flirting with Boaz and his workers and trying to get his attention, in whatever ways they could, not Ruth. She was humbly, modestly doing her work. Girls, you don't have to flirt and become immodest and sacrifice who you are in Christ to get a boyfriend. You hold on to who God has created you to be. Don't sacrifice your purity. What an example. How'd that turn out for Ruth? Pretty good. She married a very wealthy landowner who became the descendant of the Messiah. She could have given that up, right? She could have given all that up. Girls, you hold on to who God has created you to be. No guy is worth that. Sorry, guys. You can be scoundrels sometimes. I have a daughter. She was diligent in her work. She wasn't lazy and frivolous. She was friendly. She was teachable. She let her mother-in-law coach her. She was a model of modesty and womanhood. She was strong in the Lord. What can we learn from this story, these two lady heroines for us? Well, how to handle adversity. It's going to happen. You're going to lose something. Girls, you're going to lose a boyfriend sometimes. Sometimes you need to tell him, get on down the road, Jack. Read about that. We learn how to be a virtuous woman and maintain your integrity in the most difficult situations. We learn humility, modesty, and grace. We learn loyalty from your family. Somebody may need to get home and call your mama today. I'm just throwing that out there. Mama, she carried you. We learned that we need each other. Naomi needed somebody. God gave her Ruth. Ruth needed somebody. God gave her Naomi. We talk about Paul and Timothy. Ladies, there's no more powerful illustration of discipling and mentoring relationship than Ruth and Naomi. Every lady in here needs a Naomi in your life. And you need a Ruth in your life. What a story. Let's bow our heads and close our eyes. I'm not sure exactly what you're going through today. I know that life isn't always wonderful. I know that sometimes it's good. but it's not always going to be that way. Some of you have lost a mama, you've lost a daddy, you've lost a brother, you've lost a child. Ruth and Naomi maintained their faith in their God. You may feel like God has named you bitterness today. Call me Mara. This isn't fair what I'm going through. This is hard. God has not forgotten about you. In fact, He is at work doing something we don't even understand. Naomi was loyal to her faith. If you're here today and you say, "Preacher, I'm not sure. I don't know about this Jesus thing." If you don't know Jesus, today would be a great day to trust Him. He'll change your life. And it may be that you say, "Pastor, we're just in a tough time right now. I feel like my name is Mara." Can I encourage you? God hasn't left you. And lastly, I want to say this. Sometimes you just need to come home. You know where home is? I have a home in Tennessee. Beautiful. Incredibly beautiful. A few years ago, when I was 19, my daddy died. And a few years ago, I preached my mama's funeral. I got a beautiful farm up in Tennessee, but guess what? It's not home anymore. Home was where Mama was. Home was where Daddy was. And you know what God's given me? God's given me a new home. God has given me the most incredible family. This church. And it's wonderful to come home. And He's always there, ready to reach down and grab you and love you. Father, we're all on our own journeys, and we all have needs today. Lord, we need to feel love. We need to feel acceptance. We need to feel family. So God, I just pray that you would help folks to give themselves to you today. God, just come home. Lord, we love you, and we thank you so much for this family, this community church of Mount Pleasant. God, I pray that you would help us to learn from two incredible ladies. And may we make application in our lives this week based on what we've learned today. Thank you. Thank you for loving us, giving us a home. In Jesus' name we pray. All right, thanks for coming today. Visitors, thanks for tolerating our frivolity. And I'm not going to say it won't happen again, because it probably will. If you give to the Lord money-wise, you can put it in that black container on the table. If you tithe and give offerings, thank you. Tonight, 6 o'clock prayer planning, choir and orchestra, 4:30, youth group, 6 o'clock, all that is up at the farm. God bless you. You are free to go. Thank you.